This is a camel. Camels come in two main types: dromedaries with one hump and Bactrian camels with two. Camels are a symbol of Arabia, and the Arabic language even has more than 160 words to describe them. Everyone knows camels as the kings of the desert, but they have many unique adaptations. For example, they have a natural chest pad that helps them rest on hot sand without overheating. And if you annoy a camel, it might spit right in your face. Camels may look calm, but they are powerful animals. Just look at their teeth. They have a strong bite that could easily break bones. Their wide, flat hooves act like snowshoes, helping them walk across soft sand. Their humps store fat, which the body can use during times when food is scarce. They also help keep the body elevated from the ground while resting. Interestingly, many of these features originally evolved for cold climates, not deserts. In fact, camels first evolved in North America, where winters were long and cold. Later, they migrated to desert regions, and their cold weather adaptations turn out to work perfectly in hot environments too. Today, dromedaries mostly live in hot deserts, while Bactrian camels survive in extreme places like the Gobi Desert, where temperatures range from -40 degrees Celsius to +45 degrees Celsius. Camels eat tough plants like thorny cactus, but when food is scarce, they can even eat meat, fish, snakes, or bones. They're technically herbivores, but their digestive system can handle much more. They can survive over a week without water, and when they finally find it, they can drink up to 100 liters at once. Camels can also carry loads of around 450 kilograms and travel 40 kilometers in a single day, sometimes covering 250 kilometers without drinking. Truly one of the toughest mammals on Earth. This is an ant, and despite their tiny size, ants are incredibly intelligent. Some species can even pass the mirror test, something many animals like dogs and cats fail. Ants can remember locations and routes, using landmarks and the position of the sun to navigate. Some desert ants can even count their steps while exploring. Ants have poor vision, but can see UV and polarized light. They don't have ears, yet they detect tiny vibrations through their legs. Most ants are omnivores, eating seeds, nectar, insects, and dead organisms. In a way, they act like nature's cleaning crew, keeping the environment healthy. Army ants can sometimes form something called an ant mill, or death spiral. If their pheromone trail is disturbed, ants may start following each other in a circle until they collapse from exhaustion. Some species also show incredible cooperation. Megaponera ants fight termites, and if an ant gets injured, others carry it back to the nest and treat the wound with antimicrobial secretions. This reduces death rates by up to 90%. Ant colonies even have graveyards where dead members are taken, and some species have separate areas used as toilets. One fascinating type is the honeypot ant. In these colonies, some workers become living storage containers called repletes. They are fed sugary liquids until their abdomens swell like grapes, storing food and water for the colony during hard times. These ants spend their entire lives acting as living reservoirs. These are chickens, one of the most widespread birds on Earth, mostly raised as food. In fact, over 72 billion chickens are eaten every year. Roosters crow extremely loudly, so loud that it can be compared to a gunshot near your ears. To protect themselves, they briefly reduce their own hearing while crowing. Some rare chickens, like the Iam semini, are completely black, even their organs and bones. Only their blood remains red. When a hen is born, she already carries all the eggs she will lay during her life in tiny, undeveloped form. If a hen's ovary becomes damaged, her body may start producing male hormones, causing her to physically develop rooster-like features. Chickens are omnivores and will eat almost anything: grains, insects, lizards, and even small snakes. Since they don't have teeth, they swallow small stones called grit that help grind food inside their stomachs. They are also surprisingly intelligent. Chickens can recognize around 100 different faces, solve simple problems, plan ahead, and even deceive other chickens if it benefits them. They are social animals capable of empathy, and they have been observed gathering around dead members of their group. Their famous head stability has even inspired modern camera stabilization technology. And strangely enough, chickens are actually the closest living relatives of the Tyrannosaurus rex. This is a panda, one of the most unusual members of the bear family. Despite having the digestive system of a carnivore, 99% of a panda's diet is bamboo. The problem is that bamboo is difficult for them to digest, so pandas eat huge amounts and can poop dozens of times a day. Pandas live only in China, and the country doesn't sell them to other nations. Instead, pandas are loaned to zoos, and even the cubs born there legally belong to China. In captivity, pandas rarely show interest in mating, which makes breeding programs difficult. But in the wild, pandas actually reproduce successfully. Females are in heat for only 2 or 3 days each year. Yet during that time, they mate multiple times and usually produce healthy cubs. So despite their reputation, wild pandas are doing better than many people think. Finally, this strange creature is a sea cucumber. They come in many sizes, from tiny 4 mm species to giant ones reaching 3 meters in length. Sea cucumbers have no brain and no eyes. Instead, they rely on chemical sensors to move around the ocean floor. Using tentacles around their mouth, they feed on sediment, basically eating ocean dirt and extracting nutrients from it. But their most unusual feature is how they breathe. Sea cucumbers actually breathe through their rear opening, pulling water in and pushing it back out to exchange oxygen. When threatened, they can even expel their internal organs to distract predators, later regenerating them completely. Some fish species take advantage of this opening and live inside the sea cucumber for protection. To stop unwanted guests, certain sea cucumbers evolved anal teeth, which act like a gate. Their bodies are also extremely flexible. They can soften and almost liquefy themselves to squeeze through tiny spaces, then harden again afterward. Despite their strange appearance, sea cucumbers are animals related to starfish, and in many cultures they are even eaten, though many people say they taste rubbery. Thank you for watching. See you next time.